Hello, welcome to Live Life on IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, Lovely Laura, and sitting in for my co-host, Dr. Jones. Guys, by the way, today is her birthday, so she took a day off. But this is my daughter, Kenya. She is back from Spain.
Yes.
And Kenya, we want to talk a little bit about Spain. Well, before we get into Spain, before we get there, let's talk about our Christmas holiday season. You know, guys, we were just coming off of Christmas. And it was quiet. For me, It was. I thought it was pretty quiet. How was it for you, Kenya?
It was a pretty nice Christmas. Came back into the country, decided to go visit friends and family. I would say definitely Christmas Day was a lot more calmer than what it usually is. I don't know if it's because I'm going up in age, but it was
up in age. How old are you now?
20.
Okay. I guess that is up in age.
So compared to like my childhood when I was there for Christmas, it was a lot more like calm, but it was really nice. It was still nice. So
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So when you say compared to your childhood, what would you say childhood was like?
Childhood was kind of more, it was really noisy, and it was just like wrapping paper everywhere and all of these other things to do. Visiting. And I think we also visited like grandparents a lot. And so as like the years have gone on, there's less people to visit on the holidays. So, but it was still nice.
You're absolutely right. There are definitely less people to visit on the holiday. Well, I spent the whole day, guys, cooking. I cooked literally all. No, that's all back up. First, we went to church. We went to Embassies in Christ in Gary, Indiana. Shout out to them. They gave out wonderful gifts. In fact, they gave out a 2016 Ford Fiesta as a gift. Televisions, refrigerators, stoves, all kinds of things. So it's nice to see a church that actually gives back during the season, and made a lot of people happy. So first we worshiped. Then I came home and I did cooking, and I started at about 2:30, and I don't think I finished until 8:30. So lots of cooking going on. So guys, today's show is going to be about, the topic is called It Really Happened. It really happened. These are all the things that happened in 2016. I mean, they really, really happened. Mm-hmm. As well as we're going to talk about what happened here, what happened abroad, what's happening in politics, what's happening in entertainment, as well as my favorite, of course, the 5 W's of Black History. Mm-hmm. So that's a highlight of what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, I want Kenya to talk about Spain, because she was gone to Spain from August the 30th until she just came back.
December 18th.
December 18th. Yeah, she just came back December 18th. So how was that for you?
Spain was an amazing experience. I should say is an amazing experience, because I decided at the end of November to stay the full year. So I'll be returning in January until May. Okay. But Spain was like a dream, basically, because you kind of go in and you start meeting people in my program who all go to the same college as me, but I've never met them on campus. So this was the first time that I got to interact with them, and we formed friends, and that was really nice. And then just meeting the locals, the culture is completely different. They eat lunch at like 3 p.m., dinner at 10 p.m. They cook with olive oil for everything. My stomach had to adjust for that. But when I got adjusted, it was really great. And
they're 7 hours ahead of us, too.
Yeah, right? They're 7 hours ahead of us. So the time difference, it was hard calling you or texting you.
Yeah, it was hard on me too, trust me. I didn't get much sleep worrying about Kenya. Not a whole lot of sleep.
But it was awesome. I went to London to see a friend who was also abroad. We went to Morocco, which is right at the Northern Africa, very top. And that was easily my favorite place that we visited.
What made Africa your favorite?
It's nothing like how people try to portray it on TV. I guess it also depends on what location you go to, because Africa is such a big continent that every country is completely different.
Okay.
And so, but in Northern Africa, the main religion is Islam. And so it's just the hijabs, the scarves that the women wear over their face, over their heads, In Morocco, at least, it's optional. While a lot of people try to make it seem like men are dominating the women completely, it is optional in Morocco. So the women decide whether they want to or not. It was beautiful. Everything was gorgeous. The buildings on the outside in Islam, the religion is the outside, you're not supposed to show your outer beauty, which is why a lot of the women wear the hijabs. So your inner beauty is for yourself and for God.
Okay.
And so therefore a lot of their houses are designed the same way. On the outside, it's like broken glass everywhere, cracks everywhere. You really didn't think it was going to be in a nice place, because I stayed in a homestay. So I stayed with a family. It was a beautiful experience. And we stayed with a family, and as soon as you go inside, the house is just gorgeous, like any mansion you could possibly imagine.
Wow.
They had their coffered ceilings were handmade. Everything was just beautiful. And you just ask them, like, why is everything so gorgeous on the inside, but you don't really display that on the outside? And they're saying, like, my beauty of my home is for myself and my family and for, like, worshiping God. So therefore what's on the outside should matter to other people.
Wow, totally opposite than us here in the United States.
Yeah, on the
we're
United
all
States,
about
like the
what's on the
gardening,
external,
everything.
It's like,
yeah. And then it was awesome.
More or less, what you look like on the outside is what matters
It's
the
what
most.
really matters
It's not
the
even so
most.
much about the heart,
Exactly.
and the interior.
And
Wow.
so then we also went to Rome, and there were a lot of side streets, a lot of, like, beautiful things to see: the Colosseum, Trevi Fountain, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Vatican. Everything was really awesome.
So did you see many people of your color there?
In Italy?
In Rome, yes.
No.
No.
I saw one black girl, and I really liked her hair color. She, like, dyed it, and I wanted to ask her what color, like, what she used to dye her hair. But one of my friends, it was me and two of my friends, they were both also black and girls. And they said, don't ask her, like, you might try to make her feel othering because she's the only other black girl you've seen the entire time, so don't go asking questions.
And so one of your friends actually came from Boston, right? To visit.
She came from Boston to visit, so that was great. It really doesn't cost as much to go abroad as some people may think. She had a round trip ticket from Boston to Spain for $430.
Wow.
To get there and to go back was $430.
That's not what we paid for your ticket. It was much more than that.
It depends on when you buy the ticket, really.
Much more than that, I can tell you that. So what about London? So you had an opportunity to visit your friend Cody,
yes,
who was studying abroad in London also. Now, that was a trip, guys, by the way, that scared the mess out of me, where Kenya was concerned. Now, she was supposed to meet up with Cody. Cody was going to meet her at a bus stop.
Yes. And
Kenya gets to the bus stop, and the bus stop was closed. She's like, Ma, the bus stop is closed, and Cody's not here, and Cody's not answering the phone, so I'm just going to walk. I'm like, you're going to what? I'm going to walk with a backpack on her back in a foreign country, and she's talking about she's going to walk. Oh, Ma, it's just 30 minutes.
It was just 30 minutes.
Oh, and by the way, Ma, I got to get off the phone because my phone is charging down.
I had like 2% left. And I didn't know how to get there, so I was trying to memorize the map. So luckily, school system did me well, because I was able to memorize the map to get there, because my phone had like a 1%, and I didn't use it often because I didn't want to waste it in case I got lost. So I mostly went off of memory. And then when I got lost, I was like, okay, phone, let's get there. And Cody called my name, like, Kenya, at the exact second my phone charged down. So I was like, oh, it's great.
Look at God. Thank God you got a praying mama. Praying mama.
Yes.
So he definitely covered you, but that was a great experience. I am so glad and so proud of you. And as I stated to your friends, I'm very proud of them too. And they had almost missed their plane. I think leaving which country?
Leaving Rome.
Leaving Rome. And one of the friends, she was so distraught. She was like, we almost missed our plane. And I mean, she was just really, really shaken up by that. Yeah. And I said to her, did you make the plane? She said, yes, I made the plane. We made it. I said, well, sweetie, it's okay. You should be so proud of yourself. The fact that you guys are venturing out, taking a chance to do something different, understanding that this world is very large. So I'm very proud of you guys, for doing that and traveling around Europe, taking advantage of that opportunity and traveling around Europe. And yes, you're going to go back in January, and I will go back to sleepless nights, and I'm prepared.
I mean, it shouldn't be as sleepless because, I think a lot of people should just if you're going to do study abroad, do it for the full year, only because you're trying to get adjusted in the first 3 months. And when you finally feel like you're getting it, my Spanish was finally starting to get there. It was flowing off the tongue for certain situations, such as like being in restaurants. Oh, I also had to go to the hospital while I was there, but
Oh yeah, she did get hospitalized.
I did get better eventually. And I think you finally understand what's going on in the country. So coming back for another semester, I feel like I'll be able to take full advantage of all of its opportunities. I have an internship at Apune that is an international organization that connects U.S. colleges with Spain for students who want to go abroad. So I'll be redoing their website, doing their social media, running their workshops, doing their conferences. Like all of these opportunities have opened up once I started understanding the culture more and understanding the people and the language. And so like I tutored 3 families, children in English. I learned a lot of Spanish from them because you have to speak in Spanish to teach English. But
So you're saying that when you go to study abroad, you don't think that a semester is enough, that you really should do a full year, because by the time you get assimilated more or less to the culture, then it's time to leave. But if you stay that full year, then you'll benefit from it more so.
Exactly.
I guess on top of that, not to mention the university is paying for it. It's a even swap out actually in terms of you going to Boston College. So you're right. You're right. That is a great opportunity. Hadn't looked at it like that. All I thought was, okay, she's going to be going a whole nother semester. We got to pay for another plane ticket to go back to Spain. But we ended up getting a better deal the second time around.
Definitely.
Yeah, we got a better deal. Well, that is so great, Kenye. So very proud of you. Madrid, Spain.
Madrid, Spain.
Madrid, Spain. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, you know what? Actually, I think we're going to take a break. We have a guest that's coming, guys, so we're going to take a break. Make sure you stay tuned to Live Life on IntellectualRadio.com. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Live Life on IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, Lovely Laura, and this is...
Hi, my name is Kenye.
And we have a guest who has joined us. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, my name is Frances.
Frances, yes, she joins us. All right, guys, we are going to get into the topic for today. The topic for today is called It Really Happened. Yes, it is. These are the things that happened. Now, mind you, 2016 is not over with yet. Today is December the 28th. We're close to entering into our new year, but we have had quite the trying year. Some things have been great, but for whatever reason, we've had a lot of bad things that have happened in the news. So we're going to highlight some of the things that happened in 2016, and that was just unbelievable.
Yes.
So that's the reason why we're calling it It Really Happened, because you're probably going to say, really? Did that really happen? Or did you guys just make that up? So one of the things that we're going to talk about, and as stated, there have been a lot. Prince died this year in 2016. And for those of you, if you've been under a rock somewhere, you had to have been under a rock if you didn't know that Prince passed away. But he did. It was one of those that we were just really like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Did that really happen?
Huge
I know
shock.
for me, there's another great one that's gone, with Michael Jackson. I think Muhammad Ali also passed away this year.
Right.
We've had quite a few African Americans that passed away, this year that were pretty prominent. But when Prince died, it was one of those Paisley moments. I like to say, you think about and you reflect. And I just remember 1984. That's what sticks in my head more than anything. Purple Rain. When he first did the movie Purple Rain, 1984, it was like being at a live concert. It was like, this is a concert at the movie theater. You were like, wow, really? I mean, it was like being at a concert. It really was. So that was sad. So you guys have any comments on that with Prince?
Yeah, actually, I know exactly where I was the day that happened. We were sitting in Miller's Pub downtown.
Okay.
And having lunch, and they had, the big screen televisions, and it was just all over. It was such a shock. I think it just shocked everybody.
It was surreal.
Yes. Very surreal.
In fact, that was Webster Dictionary. That was, Webster, every year they'll choose a word that they'll say, okay, this is our word for the year. And their word for the year that people looked at the most, they Googled the most, was surreal. Everything was surreal. It's like, wow, this is like surreal. And you are, with all the things that happen, it just seems so surreal. Now, Kenya, with you being 20 years old, did Prince affect you?
Well, I had a friend, I have a friend, her name is Nania, and she is the one who told me saying that Prince died. And I felt sad, but I wasn't extremely connected, but it did feel like, oh, there's another great person such as Michael Jackson. But I mean, it was sad for me, but I didn't really dwell on it longer than an hour. I'm not going to lie to you. But he was a great performer.
Yes, he was. He was a great performer. Another thing that really happened, and I'm going to save the real big thing for later, so I'm going to highlight some other things that people probably didn't think about. But Harambe was the gorilla that was killed at Cincinnati Zoo. You guys remember that story?
Yes.
That was a young African American boy. I think he was about 5 years old.
Yeah. Who
actually fell over into the cage. And America was in an uproar over the fact that gorilla was killed. It was like as though they preferred if the little boy was killed instead of the gorilla.
Yeah.
It was like, really? You could see that the gorilla was going to escalate into the point that he could bring serious harm to this child. But again, it showed the effects of Donald Trump and just the whole political scheme of the way things were happening in terms of the debates and the things that were going on, and how it was really dividing us as a country. That you would get to the point that you feel that a gorilla is more important than a child.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, this child had to be a Black child. So you wanted to bring criminal charges against the parent. I don't know whatever happened with that. I don't think she was ever charged.
I don't think she was, but I remember they were doing like criminal background checks on his dad and like all this other stuff that really didn't pertain to the story whatsoever. But I remember a lot of backlash, and there were all over social media. It was like, why kill Harambe? There's so many shirts now. Now it's kind of more of like a joke, not in it's more of like a funny thing. But a lot of people wear shirts. There's hats like Harambe is the best, like all this other stuff. So it's kind of more like a memorial service for the gorilla now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, that really happened. It really happened that people were in an uproar over
Mhm.
Harambe, the gorilla from
Mhm.
Cincinnati Zoo. They were more concerned about his welfare and the fact that he died as opposed to that young child who was 5 years old. So that's another thing that really happened.
Yes, Black
Another,
Lives Matter.
oh, yeah, you're right. You're
In all
absolutely
situations.
right. Black Lives Matter. Another thing that happened in 2016 that just really, this is one of the more positive stories. Misty Copeland.
Mm.
Misty Copeland, for those of you that don't know Misty Copeland, Misty Copeland is an African American ballet dancer, very
Mhm.
renowned ballet dancer.
Mhm.
And this year, 2016, there's the Nutcracker that happens always around the holidays, and she is the lead ballerina for the Nutcracker.
For the Disney
Mm.
Nutcracker, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
she's the lead ballerina for the Nutcracker. So
Yeah.
that's a step in the right direction for African Americans. Unfortunately, we have to talk like this. It's 2016,
I
and we're
know,
still
right?
talking about whether or
Mhm.
not African Americans are getting these opportunities, where most of the times it has been Caucasian women who have been ballerina dancers. We don't have many African American ballerina dancers. So can
Yeah.
you imagine that opening up the door for young African American girls that they want to be ballerinas themselves?
Yeah.
So yes, that's something that really happened.
Yeah, Magic actually interviewed her, and they were discussing
Magic
body
Johnson.
image. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Magic Johnson, and they were discussing body image, and she said how the way she was looked upon because of how Black women are built. It wasn't really acceptable.
Curvier.
But I mean, she's beautiful, and her
Mhm.
curves are beautiful. How dare they say that? But that's what she had to endure, the criticism of body image, which is, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the importance of representation. So the fact that she's there, a lot of other young Black girls can decide to stay in ballet. I mean, it's not really, you don't really see as many Black girls in ballet, mostly because as the years go on, a lot of their teachers will criticize them, saying, like, as you're getting older, like, you're getting more curves, your body's this and this, and the way a ballet dancer needs to be is very, like, thin and
Hmm.
close to emaciated, basically, like, very, very skinny.
What is
And
emaciated for
like
those of us that don't know that word?
but close to what some people would consider more like anorexic. Like a
Yeah,
lot of ballet
skeletal.
dancers have eating disorders because they're expected to be so tiny for the lifts and all of the other acrobatic things that happen. But I mean, to see a Black woman who is the lead of the Nutcracker, that shows representation. So hopefully more little Black girls will decide, hey, I
Right.
know my body is going to change over the years, but that doesn't mean I can't still do this.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
So another thing that really happened in 2016 were the Orlando shootings.
Mhm.
That
The
was one. It was just extremely, extremely sad for me when I saw it happen. And I remember watching CNN. CNN did an in-depth coverage of it. In
Mhm.
fact, Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper, who is also gay himself, he's an out and
Mhm.
out known gay news reporter. He took it extremely, extremely hard. It was very
Mm.
personable for him. And it was one of those things where I remember them listing, putting all their names on the screen. And not only did they put their names, but they also listed their occupations
Mm.
just so that you could connect to them, as a person,
As a
and not
person, yeah.
looking at them as being gay, but they were people who were
Mhm.
basically executed. And it really was. It was a sad, moment in our history. I will say that. It was a very sad moment. And I think Anderson Cooper, for me, he brought it even more so that I looked at it as opposed to saying, well, maybe God was punishing them, and I know that sounds cruel for saying that, but you do think like that sometimes.
Right.
You
Yeah.
think like that, but when CNN did that coverage, and Anderson Cooper especially, I was like, you're right, these are just human beings, but for a moment you can think like that, and that's just being honest, it'll come across your mind and you're going, okay, but no one deserves to be treated like that.
No.
And absolutely they do not. No one
No.
deserves to be treated like that.
Right. Regardless of
Yeah.
the color of your skin, or whether you're straight or gay, or your sexual orientation. Preference. Yeah.
Definitely. So Kenya, what was it like for you in Boston? I mean, did they comment on it? Especially with you being on were you in Boston at the time that it happened, or you were in Spain?
I don't know where I was. I always feel like I'm in Boston.
Traveling.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm in Boston because of social media. So I have a lot of my friends are either identify with LGBTQ group, or they are working with it, or they're allies or something like that. And so therefore, like, my entire news feed was about news articles and what was happening and how people were feeling. And so it was just on a different level to see my friends who are LGBTQ plus identifiers. It was just really hard because, of course, I consider myself an ally to that group. And to see my friends who are just so distraught because it felt like a personal attack on who they consider themselves to be, like their essence of who they are, that it was just really hard to deal with. Because I mean, a lot of things happen and if something happens in the news, imagine that everybody will be posting it on social media for days and days and days. And it was just really difficult to open my Facebook every time. And it was just more sad news. But I did feel really connected, mostly because of my friends.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing about social media. It brings us into the moment, and it tells us everything that's going on. And if you don't know the story, when it happened, open up your Facebook page, open up your Twitter account. You will definitely find out what that story is, or even Google,
Definitely.
You'll get a lot of information on the news feed. So that was something that really happened in 2016. It was sad. How many people? I think it was
for the Orlando?
Yeah, in Orlando. Was it like 60 something? I know it was quite a bit. The number was high.
It was high.
Yeah, the number was very high in terms of how many people actually died during that. My prayers and my thoughts still go out with those families.
Yes.
Because it's got to be difficult, even more difficult for them around the holiday season. Know what that feels like when when you have lost someone. So for Chicago, the Chicago Cubs won the World Series. And that was a huge thing, guys. It happened in 2016. Yes, it really happened.
That was huge.
It really happened. 108 years since they won the World Series.
I know, that's a long time.
That's a long time. Wow. I remember watching, because I watched the series. I watched every last one of those games. But that last game, I'm telling you, I know God was in the midst, because when he brought that rain, when he brought the rain in Cleveland, because the Cubs were down. I was like, they're about to let this slip away from them. But when it rained and the referee called it and said, you know what, we have to take a break. We got to get the fielder. We need to take a break. I knew at that moment they were going to win. I said, this ain't nothing but God. This is God interfering. This is a moment for them to pause and to say, hey, get this together, guys. Get it together. Yeah. And they did, and they got it together. And it was a big turnaround, because let's face it, Cleveland was also another team, Cleveland. They also were another team who had been a long time since they won the World Series also. So that was a big deal. So yes, guys, that really happened. The Chicago Cubs are the World Series champions.
Yes.
Yes, they are the World Series champions. So another thing that happened, you guys, did you have a comment on the Cubs?
On the Cubs? No,
I mean,
just
Granddaddy Cedric.
Granddaddy Cedric. I'm pretty sure he was very happy. My grandfather's a big fan. There's another girl who was in Spain with me at the time who was also from Chicago, and she said, "Let's go to a pub," because in Spain we're legal. 18 is the drinking age. But she says, "Let's go to a pub." and watch the game and blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, that sounds exciting, but I'm going to sit here, take a nap because the game didn't end. It was a long game. I remember they were saying. And she came back from the bar at like 6 a.m. and we had class at 9. I said, you are a devoted fan. I am not that devoted.
I think she was partying. Well, I guess 6 a.m.
Yeah, because of the time difference.
Because I don't think it ended here in the United States. I guess it was over about 11:30.
Yeah.
Midnight. It was kind of late. So that would put her at 6 a.m. You're right.
Time difference.
It was late. It was late by the time that game ended. Okay. You're right. She's a devoted fan.
She's very devoted.
Very devoted fan. Okay, guys. So let's talk about the number one thing.
You can do the Black nominations.
I'm sorry. Say that. Oh, I'm sorry. The Black movie nominations. You can do that.
Oh yeah,
because it was
So typically in Black movies, TV shows, a lot of the awards that are given to the stars or even just the movie or TV show in general, they usually have to do with slavery, drug dealing, or someone being in like a maid position. Is typically what the movie roles are. Prostitution, anything that's negative is when you are given an award for saying good job for completing your stereotype in a movie. Yeah. Is basically what happens. Therefore, that is why it was a big deal that there are Golden Globe nominations and Emmy nominations for a lot of roles that don't have anything to do with that. And the first one is Insecure. Issa Rae, she started off as a YouTuber and she did her own show online, and then eventually she got a deal with HBO with a show called Insecure, and she has a nomination, Golden Globe nomination for Best Leading Actress in a TV Show. And she also is the writer and director of the show, basically.
Oh, wow.
So she just does everything.
HBO.
She got a deal with HBO. And it's literally just about going through life. How a lot of white shows is basically what a Black show was able to have without all the negativity. So it's not like she lives in a bad area where there's shootings or anything. She lives in a basically normal area. She's just trying to get through her job, figure out what she wants out of life, is what the story is about. Then we also have Blackish. Tracee Ellis Ross has Emmy nominations for that. And then Fences, there are a lot of Golden Globe nominations for Denzel Washington and what's her name? Viola Davis's performances in that movie.
I got an opportunity to see Fences last night, guys. I'm here to tell you that is a movie that you do not want to miss.
And I won't.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
Really? Wow.
When I say phenomenal from the beginning to the end, I say best movie of the year. I say best actor for Denzel. I say best supporting actress for Viola Davis. I'm the first one to put it out there. I'm telling y'all now. I'm telling the Academy. It is the best movie of the year. Fences. Yes. Okay. Denzel Washington, best actor of the year. Very deep movie. Very deep, very phenomenal, message on point. When it ended, everyone in the movie theater was clapping and cheering. I was on point with them. It was an excellent movie.
Now, you know that was an August Wilson play. Did you ever see the play?
No, I knew that it was an August Wilson play. And the person who portrayed Denzel's position was James Earl Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, James Earl. Is it Jones?
That's
James
it.
Earl.
Yeah, James Earl Jones.
I'm not sure.
James Earl Jones. He's the person that portrayed the character.
His role. Okay.
That Denzel played. So I knew. Yeah. They gave it credit to August Wilson, original screenplay. August Wilson. It was well done. Very well done.
Can't wait to see it.
I'm telling you guys, go out and see it. Go see it. Go see it right away. So that was another thing that really happened in 2016. And Fences is still going on because it opened Christmas Day. So there's a lot in terms of what's to come. And, you know, the Oscar nominations, they come out in January sometime, because the Oscars are in February. It's always towards the end of February.
Okay.
So I see it getting nominated, definitely. I see it winning. That's what I see. Now, the biggest thing that happened in 2016 was Drum roll, guys. Not literally.
Because we all know.
Yeah, President-elect
Oh.
Donald Trump. Surreal,
Ooh.
surreal, surreal, surreal. But that is something
Mm.
that really happened. You know what I think about when he won? I think about Taraji P. Henson. I always think about her. I don't know, it was some award show she was on. She was like, guys, you need to get out there and vote because y'all, nobody thinks that he can win, but he can really, really win. And y'all need to get out there
Mhm.
and vote. And everybody was looking at her like she was crazy. I'm like, really? Girl, you must be crazy. He is not going to win this presidency.
Mhm.
How right she was. How right
Mhm.
she was. And it
Yes.
really happened. It really happened in 2016. And we are still, feeling the effects of it. In fact, that one of the things we're going to talk about in politics was the fact that the inauguration is coming up on January the 20th. That's a standing date for the inauguration. And Kenya leaves to go back to Spain that day on January the 20th.
Oh.
And one of the things that normally,
Oh no, go ahead.
normally January the 20th, during their inauguration, they normally have celebrities that come. So Kenya, she actually brought this to my mindset, which I didn't know, but he's having a difficult time getting celebrities to perform. In fact,
Do you want to talk about politics now?
yeah,
You want to switch in? Okay. Well, before we do, I just want to say for Donald Trump with the president-elect,
okay.
I remember in Spain, because we had to stay up, I was going to sleep thinking that Hillary Clinton was going to win. I said, there's no reason for me watching the elections. I'm just going to wake up. She's going to be president. We'll be fine. And I'll go about my day.
Okay.
But my friend Nanaya came to my door in our dorm at 4 a.m, banging on the door, and I open it and she's crying. And she's like,
Hysterically.
he's gonna win. He's going to win. And I just I couldn't process it. We put up our laptops, all of our friends. There's house party on you can get on your phone where you can talk to up to like 8 people on Skype basically, and we're all on Skype together freaking out like he's gonna win, we're crying, talking. And so after he wins, I go out into the hallway and all of the Spanish students, they'd see that I had been crying, or they just knew that I would be upset because they knew I was American, and they just come up to me and say, I'm so sorry. That was it. They didn't say hi or anything. People were just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And just the rest of the day, everybody just kept apologizing to me. Like, I'm so sorry. And I just knew, they knew, we all knew that it was pretty bad. There were protests in London, there were protests everywhere. It was wild, but everybody just kept apologizing the entire day.
Wow.
The week, basically.
And that's actually when you were in London. Weren't they protesting then?
Yeah, they were protesting later when I went in London.
When you were in
I
London.
went to London like 2 weeks after it had happened, the elections.
And you actually joined the protest.
I did.
You got in the middle of the protest.
Yes, I did. I saw picket signs and I said, that is where I should be. So I ran over it. It was great.
Enjoying the protest. Wow.
But
I was just linking it all together in terms of it's politics. Again, we're still talking about politics and the fact that he cannot get any celebrities to perform for him.
Can't get a single celebrity. No, Elton John refused. Kiss refused. Celine Dion. He already knows open people who won't perform. Like Lady Gaga protested outside of the Trump Towers in New York, so he knows she's not going to perform. Any A-list stars have all rejected.
Oh, wow.
Garth Brooks.
Everybody.
Yeah, Garth Brooks is one of them as well. So tell about the Rockettes.
So the Rockettes, since they are technically like an American company in a way, they usually perform at any American event. You can get them to do it pretty much anywhere in America. And so they asked the Rockettes, will you perform for the inauguration? All of the girls said, no, we don't want to perform. And they said, okay, we'll force you to perform then. Like a dictatorship, basically.
Sounds just like a dictatorship.
And so they had said that, no, we're not going to make the girls we're not going to force them to perform. Turns out they are being forced to perform. They will be performing on January 20th, along with a 16-year-old opera singer prodigy, because they can't get anybody else to perform.
And I think CNN broke that story too, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they broke that story on Thursday. And a lot of the girls didn't even know they were performing until they saw it on CNN. They weren't told that they were performing until then.
Now, isn't it true that there's like 80 dancers that are part of the Rockettes?
Yeah, they have seasonal dancers and then they have full-time dancers. So the seasonal dancers got an email saying, are you available to perform on this day? The full-time dancers said, this is where you should be on this day. We'll see you there.
Wow.
There was no option. So a lot of the women, they're like, our costumes are short, our dresses are short, we're sort of revealing in many ways. I don't feel comfortable dancing near him, anywhere close to him, for a man who's bragged about sexual assault cases. No women of color have signed up to perform that day. They have few women of color anyway on the Rockettes, but none of them have signed up. They're saying, no, we're not doing it. They have a lot of women who are immigrants. They refuse to perform. And so the seasonal dancers can refuse to perform, but the full-time dancers, they don't really have that option. And I know they said that a lot for the Christmas shows, people aren't really showing up because they will be performing for the inauguration. So a lot of people are saying that they're going against human rights. So they're not showing up to the shows. I know one girl was talking about how she was crying in the kick line during the Christmas celebration, just thinking about that her next performance will be at the inauguration. So,
wow.
That's incredible.
I mean, it is. And here we are in the
Really?
United States of America. The beautiful thing about the United States of America is that we are a democracy. Yet you have a leader that's up and coming that will actually take that seat come January, who acts more like a dictator. He really does. I mean, Fidel Castro just died, 90 years old, from Cuba. You know, it's dictatorship. You know, when people don't do it the way he wants it done or say the things that he wants to say, he takes to Twitter. He does whatever. He's a dirty player. He does whatever it takes in order to win at any cost.
Right.
And he doesn't care. You know, so this is going to be a rough 4 years. It really is. So I will say, you know, prepare. But again, he's one man. He doesn't control our destination in terms of where we're going. He can shake some things up and flip it upside down.
Of course.
But in the end, he doesn't control.
He'll probably just do one term. I don't see him like being reelected.
Absolutely not.
I hope not.
I don't see him.
I mean, I didn't see him being president, so I can't really say much.
You're absolutely right there. We didn't even see him becoming president, yet let alone another term.
Right.
That is so true. Now, in the entertainment news, guys, I want to talk about entertainment. We have lost some really greats just recently. Here it is, December the 28th. This is a time of year that I can honestly say I do not care for. It's the end of December, the beginning of January, the end of January. It just seems like it's always, you know, we all have to die someday. This is true. But it just seems like so many people start dying around the holidays. Starting in November all the way to the end of January. It just, you know, I guess they say with every death, there's a child being born. And so I guess it's one of those ways where, you know, keep population under control. I don't know, but it just seems like it all seems to come during that time. So you really have to be prayed up. You really have to brace yourself for the things that, you know, are about to come. So with that being said, we lost George Michael. He was an 80s icon singer.
Right. 53, right?
Yeah.
53.
Yeah, he was only 53.
Very young.
Yeah, he was only 53. And we also lost, we know her as Princess Leia on Star Wars, but her name's Carrie Fisher. You know, she passed away also. I believe she was 60. She was 60 years old because I think she suffered from a heart attack. Okay, she had a heart attack and she ended up passing away. In fact, George Michael passed away on Christmas Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he passed away on Christmas Day. We also lost Ricky
Harris, the comedian.
Comedian Ricky Harris. I think he was best known for being on
Everybody Loves Chris.
Everybody Loves Chris.
Or Hates Chris.
You're right. Everybody Hates Chris. Right. Yeah. He was known for being on Everybody Hates Chris. That's what it was. Everybody Hates Chris. And I think he did a cameo on This Christmas. He had a couple spots on This Christmas. And those are just the recent ones. You know, I think I was talking to you, Francis, about it, and you were saying, you had mentioned someone else. And
Tommy Ford from the Martin Show.
From the Martin Show, yeah. And I was saying that had been a little while ago, and so I was more or less focusing on recent, but we've lost quite a bit. And in fact, I looked at that list celebrities who passed away. Do you know that I was just watching a documentary on Nat King Cole?
Okay.
And it was a really great
I saw
documentary. You
that.
saw
Was
that?
it
Yeah.
on Channel 11 or
I
I'm
don't know
not
what
sure, but
channel
I
it was
did. It
on.
was on recently, right?
Yeah, it was on recently. And when I saw that, I was like, wow. And I was talking to Cedric about it, and I was saying, wow, when did his daughter die? I know she died not too long ago, but come to
Mhm.
find out, it was 2016. And it seemed
Okay.
like it was longer than that. But
Right.
that's because
Yeah.
she died January 1st, 2016.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was
Uh-huh.
at the very beginning of the year. We
Hmm.
lost Muhammad Ali, just quite a few
Yes.
people this year that were
David
Yes.
prominent.
Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie. Yeah,
Hmm.
he passed away as well. It was
Right.
quite a bit. I mean, that list was overwhelming. It
Yes, it
really
was.
was. It was overwhelming. I
It
must
was.
admit that was. And then when you think about, those things happening, then you got Chicago. We'll talk about Chicago. Just with
Ooh. Hmm.
all the shootings and all the deaths here. Do you guys know that from 2015 to 2016, that the percentage of shootings as well as deaths are
Hmm.
up like 47% in
Yes.
1 year?
Wow.
47% in 1 year.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, when you think about it, you can't even
Hmm.
wrap your brain around it. Just the
No.
thought of it. And in fact, I think there were some of the Black Lives members were protesting in front of the mayor's house not too long ago. I know it was an
Hmm.
organized group that protested in front of Mayor Rahm Emanuel's house. Something has
Right.
to be done. You just got to wonder. It doesn't
Hmm.
even sound right.
It doesn't. Well, I'm not sure if this is can be confirmed. However, this Uber driver was giving me a ride one morning, and he happened, he was saying he was from Chicago. We talked about being from Chicago, and he said we got on the subject of all the killings and the shootings that are going on, and he said that, well, you have to understand we're in the middle of a gang war. I'm like, I never thought about it that way. It's because a lot of it is, the gangs, there's going after each other and people are just getting killed in the process. I mean, it's just innocent people, but they're in the middle of a war, and that makes sense if you think about it.
I don't know. I guess I hadn't heard. I mean, I know that a lot of the killings are, gangs against each other,
Gang
but I don't
related.
know how much it is a gang war. I guess Chicago had that problem 20 years ago
Hmm.
or sorts, where they had this whole gang turf territory thing. When you look
Right.
at Los Angeles and the Crips and the Bloods and,
Hmm.
and the way they had to get that under control. I don't know, but something is definitely going on. One of the things that I know, how they talk about stop the violence,
Hmm.
stop the drugs, stop this, all these campaigns to stop this and stop that. And I come to the realization that basically those campaigns don't work. They really don't. You can say
Hmm.
that all day long, stop this, stop that,
Right.
stop this. And I like to liken it to children when it comes to raising kids. When your kid is running around, you're like, stop running, stop this, stop that. That
Hmm.
doesn't work.
No.
What works is telling that child what you would like for them to do. I need you to
Hmm.
walk. I need you to
Yes.
do, and that's the same way I liken with the things that are going on here. When you say stop the violence, stop doing this, stop doing that. No, what you need to put in place is what you want to see.
Hmm.
Be the change that you want to see. Put in place what it is you want to see. I want to see them get educated. I want to see them pull their pants up. I want to
Hmm.
see them get jobs. I want to see them take care of their children. I want to see them take care of their families. I want to see them get married. I want to see them do things like that. So let's talk about what I want to see. I don't want
Hmm.
to talk about what I want to stop. I want to talk about what I want to see. And I think that that's a lot of more of what needs to be implemented. What is
Hmm.
it that you want to see? Put
Yeah.
in place what you want to see.
Right.
And it's as simple to me. It's a simple concept,
Hmm.
but to me, it's a powerful concept.
Right.
Let me put in place what I want to see. I mean, I liken it to me raising my own child. When I raised my child, and I was talking earlier about that, I started putting things in place that I wanted to see and opportunities for her to happen. So I started putting those things in place. It's like, okay, let's do this. I don't know where that's going to take us, but that's good. Let's do this. And that's the same with the things that are going on here in Chicago. And I know it sounds easier said than done, but it actually is kind of simple in the essence that it begins with in our community, within our own home. First, it starts in your home, without a doubt. Starts in your home, but it also starts in the community. It starts with us loving and caring about each other. And wanting to take care of each other. So, I mean, that's what I'm seeing in Chicago. I pray for you guys, but I also fight for you guys. And it's sad in terms of what's happening.
It is. And they have us on the map big time for just this really.
Yeah, I know Kenya pulled up a map earlier in terms of the violence. It was just scary. It was a scary map because it showed red dots where all the killings have taken place. And it was scary seeing that map. West side Chicago, south side Chicago, that's the majority of them are happening. You got a few in Humboldt Park, you got a few scattered here, scattered there, but most of them are on the south side of Chicago and on the west side of Chicago. That's the majority of them. You're talking 460 in 2015 murders, now up to 790 or something like that in 2016. 2,900 shootings in 2015. Now we're at 4,600 shootings in 2016.
Right.
A huge difference.
It is. Even over the Christmas weekend, they said 12 killings. That is crazy.
Yeah, 40 shootings. 12 killings and 40 shootings. Yeah, that is definitely crazy. So, guys, we're getting close to wrapping up. So I'm going to mention our 5 W's of Black History. What was my question last week? It was, who was the founder of jazz? It was the founder of jazz, is what that question was last week. And the answer to that is sometimes remote notes.
Buddy Bolden.
Buddy Bolden. Buddy Bolden was the founder of jazz. That was the founder of jazz. And this week's 5W Black History question is Black Man in a White Coat. That's the name of the book. The name of the book is A Black Man in a White Coat. Who's the author of A Black Man in a White Coat? In fact, Oregon University professor got in trouble for dressing in blackface in a white coat. She said that she was trying to mimic this author. She wanted to know what it felt like to be discriminated against. And that was her reason for doing it. So Black Man in a White Coat. Black Man in a White Coat. So on that note, guys, we are going to end with Kenya has a life message for today.
Yes. So the life message for today would be, today is the first blank page of a 365-page book. So write a good one.
Write a good one.
For the new year, a lot of people have been talking about how 2016 has been a very rough year, a very trying year. And I also read another quote that said, pessimists kind of just wait for 2016 to be over, but optimists look forward to 2017. And so the main goal is to live life. So you have that chance to write each page and do your best.
Absolutely. On that note, guys, we want to tell you, first of all, thank you for joining in to listen to and watch us on Live Life on IntellectualRadio.com. Again, I am your host, Lovely Laura, and these were my guests, Kenya and Francis. And thank you so very much for tuning in and hope you enjoyed the show. I will see you next time, actually January 25th. January the 11th, I will be going out of town, going to Vegas with my husband to enjoy myself. So I'm excited about that. So we'll see you guys January the 25th. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.